you plan to put towards national defense in the high north? And then how, as a committee, how do we measure that success?
Of different things we currently do and will look to expand as well, because that area is definitely getting more contested.
So the airspace that's in Alaska is what I'm primarily interested in, and our F-35 pilots love going to Alaska. My assistant Commandant, General Christopher Mahoney, F-35 pilot, says there's nothing better than training in Alaskan airspace.
We can't be looking at a piece of paper and saying, okay, we're going to sketch this out beginning in 2030, 2035. It is now, it is happening, it is real.
Senator Lisa Murkowski presses military leaders on the urgent need for a stronger United States presence in the Arctic, emphasizing Alaska's strategic importance in countering threats from Russia and China. She warns that the region is already contested and calls on the Navy and Marine Corps to act now, not years from now.
Thank you, Senator Hoeven. Senator Murkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. You're not going to be surprised I want to talk about the Arctic. That should be right on the top of your list of issues here, beginning with A, Alaska is America's Arctic, and of course, when it comes to great power competition in the high north, we not only think about the assets in the air, on the ground, but certainly along our coasts, protecting our sea lanes, asserting our sovereignty, and so the need for a strong Navy is clearly there. So, Secretary Phelan, you've been in this position now for, I don't know if it's been a full 100 days, but probably close on there. So, if you can share with me and those on the committee really where you see or how you see the future of the U.S. Navy's role in the Arctic, and then more specifically to that, what kind of resources you plan to put towards national defense in the high north, and then how, as a committee, how do we measure that success?
Thank you, Senator, and this is a topic important to you, and appreciated the time we spent in your office. We are looking, obviously, Alaska is a important strategic part of our defense, and so we are looking at a number of different things across Alaska that will help increase efficacy and deterrence for us. I can let Admiral Kilby comment on some of the specifics we've been considering, but I look forward to getting back to you as we develop that out and have a clearer picture of what we're doing. But it is a important one. We do use it for training as well as bases for refueling and flight ops, et cetera. So there's a number of different things we currently do and will look to expand as well, because that area is definitely getting more contested, as we've seen.
Well, and as you acknowledge, our adversaries already view this as an area of competition. And so I don't want us to be in a situation or a place where the Navy is still viewing the Arctic as future operating environment. We can't be looking at a piece of paper and saying, okay, we're going to sketch this out beginning in 2030, 2035. It is now, it is happening, it is real. And we are seeing certainly other branches of the government that are keenly focusing on the Arctic, and it seems that the one lag here has been Navy in terms of that engagement. I'm going to turn to you, General Smith, with regards to Marine Corps presence in Alaska. What do you see as an increased role for the Marine Corps in Alaska and in the Arctic? I have had opportunities to be in Norway, other parts of the Arctic, in outside of the United States, where I'm proud to see our Marines, other forces training in an Arctic environment. But I also know that just as we can train in Norway, we have an equal opportunity to do so in Alaska in a pretty tough Arctic environment. If you can survive in that environment, you can make it. You can make it anywhere. So, if you can share with me what you think the role of the Marine Corps in the Arctic is.
Yes, ma'am. There's a saying: the cold makes cowards of us all.
Yes,
And,
it does. It's very humbling.
And Alaska offers some of the most brutal training, brutally cold training that can be had. Primarily for the Marine Corps, it's the airspace. Our F-35Bs and Cs can only maximize their full potential in the Alaskan airspace because of its vastness. Because as soon as you turn on certain systems, they're immediately picked up by satellites, they're immediately picked up by Russians and Chinese. So the airspace that's in Alaska is what I'm primarily interested in. And our F-35 pilots love going to Alaska. My assistant Commandant, General Christopher Mahoney, F-35 pilot, says there's nothing better than training in Alaskan airspace.
I would agree. I'm going to switch gears just for 1 second here, and I really am down to 1 second. But Secretary Phelan, you were in Guam last month or so, and you said you were appalled and actually very upset after seeing the barracks conditions at Andersen Air Force Base where our sailors were living. I've been out there. I've seen some pretty tough conditions myself. What were the results of the recent barracks inspections? What action is the Navy taking to fix and allocate resources towards barracks in poor conditions, not only in Guam, but I mean, this is a big deal, as I'm sure you know.
Yes, it is, Senator. Thank you for the question. So the Marines and the sailors who were staying in those barracks have been moved out to brand new barracks at Camp Laz, so they're out there. And I can let the Admiral tell you about the actions we've taken so far.
Hey, ma'am, thanks for that question. We did a room-by-room search for every barracks room in the United States Navy, and we found, unfortunately, about 3% that were unsat. So we've taken those sailors and are moving them out and refurbishing those barracks. It's not, it's a tough problem for us. When I was in Hawaii, I found a Arizona Hall, which probably 20 years ago was okay, but because temperature has risen, not having air conditioning is not satisfactory for our sailors. So we moved all the sailors out of that barracks and are now trying to decide, should we put in, room units or some kind of system to make it habitable again. So we're committed to the Secretary for quality of life to get after this for all the reasons we described, because we need to treat our sailors like they are, world class. And if we treat them that way, then they'll be encouraged to stay in.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.